Hey guys, this is Mired Thoughts. It's an extra special update today. I was at the Toys R Us looking for the Air Zone recoloring of their mortar, and I actually found it. But when I got there, I also found the new Dirt Tag Swarmfire, and I had to think about it for a minute because I really want the Speedload 6, but that apparently doesn't release from Toys R Us's warehouse until March 23rd. So all they had was this and the Sharp Shot. There's already Sharp Shot videos and other tutorials online, so I thought about it and I was like, well, maybe I can be the first one to get up a Swarmfire video. So I did purchase it. It's at Toys R Us. I don't know if it being anywhere else, and I'm not even sure if it's at all the Toys R Us's yet. I talked to a buddy, it wasn't at his. So here is the inside of the box. You got the Swarmfire itself right here. You got the stock, which is removable unlike the long shot stock, and then there is long strike, sorry. And then there's all these new darts. These darts are actually pretty interesting. Hold on a minute. Where did I put it? Wasn't there. Oh well, I cannot find my Sharp Shot, which I already took the darts out. So I guess I'll take it out of this one. There is, these new darts are kind of like a combination of the old Whistler and Tagger darts. They do have the little whistle hole right there. And they also have the tagger, so they look really nice, and they'll probably make a little screechy noise whenever you shoot them. So as for what I'm gonna do, I'm hoping that I'll take it apart and take out the air restrictors. I was thinking about doing a rebarrel, but since I'm at home, I don't really have any CPVC right now, so that might have to wait to another date. So I'm gonna unscrew everything, and I'm going to show you the internals. Okay, so the one thing before I started taking it apart and messing with it is I wanted to kind of see what the stock performance is. The first thing you'll note about it when you take it out of the box is it's actually kind of heavy. It's heavier than a stock Stampede with no batteries in it. And I attribute to that, it's a little bit, actually, it's almost larger. It's bulkier, definitely. And the plastic feels, maybe it's a little heavier, but it feels really solid. And because it takes the C batteries instead of the D batteries, it actually ends up weighing less than a stock Stampede with the batteries in it. You can see, it doesn't have a safety like the stock Stampede does, so it's always active as long as there's batteries in it. This is the battery compartment right there. There's a screw right in there you unscrew to take it apart. It's actually kind of heavy to hold in one hand. So I'm gonna fire off the 20 rounds so you can see what it looks like. And that's all of it. It's got a pretty good rate of fire. The distance isn't too bad. So I'm hoping that it's got a lot of promise and that I'll be able to do a lot with it. I mentioned earlier that I was going to take out the air restrictors. I'm also hoping to add a spring to the plunger tube and at a later date, because I really just don't have the materials right now. I'd like to do a rebarrel, and also I'd like to do a voltage increase with maybe two 9-volt batteries or something similar to give it a little bit more of a boost in the rate of fire. So I'm going to again take it apart, and I'll show you. Here's the Swarmfire opened up. These are the internals. You'll notice that earlier in my video I said it doesn't have a safety. It actually does. It was just hiding from me. It's on the top right here. So it's not by the trigger, but it does have a safety, so you can turn it off. This Swarmfire is just so easy to take apart. There are 7 screws on this outer layer, and then there's another 7 on this inner layer. And so that's 14 screws in total to take apart. 15 if you count the battery door. So it's just really easy to take apart. And in fact, to take this apart, there's a screw on the front, right in there. I believe it had fallen out, but it's right in the middle. And then once you take that screw off, you actually just kind of, let me set this up. You actually just pull it off, really easy. And then once you pull it off, it doesn't look like there's actually any screws in the back, so you might just be able to, I don't know, those are the air restrictors right there. And then the other air restrictor is right there, so really all I gotta do is drill out these things right here, and that's it. Not much of an air restrictor. And then after that, I'm gonna open this beast up, see if I can't get it at the plunger tube. So I'm gonna do that and I'll get back to you. Alright, here you can see I've drilled out most of the air restrictors. It's not too hard, you just have to cut once here and once here. There's this little hole that even makes it easier for you. It's pretty simple. You can see I left one just for you guys, so I'm gonna cut through that now. And you can kind of see how I've been doing it. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? Let's do it like this. Alright. Let's see, it is here. You can see, really easy, nothing to it. And then in the next part, I'm going to take apart that plunger assembly and see if I can get at the plunger tube. Okay, so here I've taken the plunger assembly apart, and it's actually kind of interesting. It's an entirely isolated system, and what makes it different from your standard Nerf plunger system is to get it apart. Whoops, that is the wheel. I'll have to put that back on. But there are 3 screws. Is it this side? No, I take that back. It's the other half of the plunger tube where the screws are. Let me just I'll figure that out in a minute. This half of the plunger, there are 3 screws. One goes on the top or the bottom. There's one in the middle here, and there's one in the back. The 2 in the back, or the one in the back and the one at the bottom, are these longer screws. They're both the same size, and then the one in the middle is the smaller screw. There's only 3 of them, so it's not that hard to remember which one is which. Now, this is the plunger assembly to, and then, oh sorry, I almost forgot. In addition to the screws, and this is what makes it different from your average Nerf plunger system, there are clips. It's on this half. There's one here, there's one down there, and so you have to come in from the other side and push on them in order to get this piece to split into 2 halves. It's kind of a pain, but it's not that big of a deal. There's only 3 screws. And then to get this plunger assembly out, you kind of just lift it up. It'll pop off, and then you can pull it out. This is the plunger rod. It's a decent sized plunger rod. It could be smaller, but it's definitely decent size. And this alternating is what allows it to fire the top and the bottom. The stock spring, let me take this real quick. The stock spring is kind of small. It's decent. It compresses decently. It's not too bad. The seal leaves a little to be desired. It's not the greatest seal, but that's good because that means that there's a lot of room to improve. So I'm going to try and work on the seal a little bit. I'm going to wrap some E-tape under the the O-ring to give it a little bit of a better seal. I'm going to try and add another spring. We'll see how that goes, and then I'm going to try and reassemble it, and hopefully it'll all work. Alright, so this is the finished product. I haven't put the outer shell back on, but I'll do that in a minute. I just want to talk about real quick what I actually did do, because I essentially went into this line. Nobody's touched it yet. Somebody might have opened it up, but no one's really posted anything on the internet. So I was essentially going in completely blind. And so I talked about doing things like adding another spring and rebarreling, and now that I've looked through it, I'm not entirely sure if that's what I'll end up doing. For example, the spring, I was really originally thought that I was going to replace the spring, but having worked with things like the Stampede and the Vulcan, I know that can sometimes throw off the gear ratio, and at the moment I just wasn't quite comfortable doing that until someone else can maybe go in who's got more time, or can actually confirm that there are some springs that you can put in there and add that in there. I don't really want to mess with that. The rebarreling is the same. If you look, let me just flip this over real quick, at these dart holes, they're not very large and they're very close together. So to do a rebarrel, I essentially would have to cut off this top part. And right now I just don't have the time to do that. I will be hoping to add voltage to it at a later date. Again, I just don't have the materials right now. And so basically what I did is I took out the dart peg, so it'll shoot any kind of dart, which is really nice. And I'm going to show you that video right now. And you can see it'll shoot any kind of dart. So that's it for now. I'll probably revisit this at a later date, but that's basic stuff right now. So now let's shoot streamlines, it will shoot Stephens, and I thank you for watching.